All right, before we get to your $1,000 expenditure, we will break down the main event for the undisputed UFC middleweight title. The American incumbent, Sean Strickland, minus 135. The South African challenger, Dricus du Plessis, is plus 114. So Strickland now, Bri, with confidence seemingly accrued from that domination of Israel Adesanya, trying to make good on the first title defense against the hard-nosed du Plessis. How are we feeling about the main event, Bri?
I love this main event. I loved it before they scrapped in the paper or in the audience.
Yeah, dude, I didn't need that.
Before the press conference, I was new blood, knew what's going to happen. Sean Strickland blew me away against Israel Adesanya. He shut him down with that weird shell that he's got. It's not for everyone. It doesn't work for everyone. I know people went to the gym on Monday and tried to duplicate it. It's very hard to do. It's not something that that everyone can do, but he does it very well. He's confident now. He looks to me in phenomenal shape as well. Saw a picture with him and Johnny Eblin. He's diced up. His abs are diced. His cardio's never been in question. He'll take fights on short notice. He still can go 5 rounds. Doesn't matter. Du Plessis, man, this guy. Shout out hardcore Anik and Florian listener Tom T. Clark IV on Twitter. I think he's a New England boy, and he loves the South African, the whole camp. Like, he's obsessed with du Plessis. He's been riding du Plessis' wave, and I remember seeing him on Twitter talking about du Plessis, going, man, I don't see it. What am I missing? I lost almost my house on the Robert Whittaker fight because I thought that was such a layup. But du Plessis just has something about him. He's awkward enough. He's powerful enough. He's strong enough just to do things that are there. His nose is fixed. That was a big problem. I saw him fight live against Darren Till in Vegas. Again, didn't blow me away. And I think Sean Strickland, to me, just walks through him, right? Sean Strickland takedown defense is goated at 185. His cardio is elite. His striking and boxing's there. Defense a little questionable when he brings his chin up and du Plessis could step into a right hand. We obviously could be seeing a new champ here, but I don't know, man. I'm missing the boat on du Plessis. I don't understand it. I'm blind to him, I guess. I don't know. I'm all over Sean Strickland here. I think this is a Sean Strickland fight. I think a TKO late, maybe even a decision win, most likely. But I see Strickland all day in this fight. I don't see it any other way.
Kenny, Dricus du Plessis upset of Robert Whittaker. It was UFC 290 last July. That made him the number one contender. His foot was injured, so the Izzy fight didn't happen. Du Plessis largely bet on himself, and indeed it was the right wager. His next fight will be for the championship, albeit against Sean Strickland. First men's UFC title fight of 2024. Kenny, du Plessis has burned you in the past. What do you think about him here against Strickland?
Yeah, he sure has. Thankfully, has burned a lot more fighters than me, I should say, as far as picking. Right, I feel bad for those fighters. They go, I'm going to take care of this guy. He doesn't. He's not a great striker. He's not a great grappler. It seems like he gets tired during fights. I got this. No, you don't got this against Dricus du Plessis. I'm sorry to say, guys. He's a juggernaut. He continues to come forward. You hit him clean. He shakes it off. Continues moving forward, lands shots at awkward times. He can drop you with the jab. He could, head and arm throws, whatever it is. And he does damage in a very short amount of time. It's like he was losing that whole first round against Whittaker. It was like, this is going to be another, performance from Whittaker, just cruising to victory here. At the end of that round, not only did du Plessis steal that round, he stole the fight because of it. Whittaker thought he was smooth sailing, and he forgot about that guy that was in front of him, du Plessis, who was landing some really hard shots from some weird spots. He uses a more of a clamshell type defense, both elbows up. So very similar to Strickland, when you're throwing shots, you're punching elbows, you're punching the top of the head, just awkward stuff. You think you have position on du Plessis, then he gets out. He goes for submissions that you don't think are there, that might be a little risky, and those long arms start to wrap up guillotines and darces, and it's just it's a nightmare of a matchup for anyone at 185 pounds, despite you thinking that you are the better fighter. And guess what? You might be right. You might be the more skillful fighter. Are you the better fighter? I'm not so sure. Now, Sean Strickland also brings with him a certain level of unorthodoxy where he can throw people off. But I think Sean Strickland is most effective when he's walking you down, when he's backing you up, putting you up against the cage, and then kind of picking you apart bit by bit. Do I see him backing up someone like Du Plessis, though? I don't. The other thing, when he fought his last fight against Cannonier, I thought that was a pretty good indicator if you go back and watch that fight, because Cannonier was kind of putting Strickland a little bit on his heels more, but wasn't throwing a lot of volume, certainly wasn't landing, or certainly wasn't going for a lot of takedowns, in my opinion. And I don't think Strickland has faced a lot of guys that have been trying to take him down. There's just not a lot of great wrestlers at 185 pounds. Not a lot of them, right? You have Chimaev, you have Bo Nickel. They haven't faced someone like Strickland. Right? They're still kind of waiting in the wings for that opportunity. So I'm not sure we've had a great gauge of how Strickland does against a dude who is committed to take him down. I think that's probably where DDP sees his best opportunity for success. And as we saw against Whitaker, he maybe only needs 20 to 30 seconds of ground and pound to make you not the same when you started inside that octagon. It's uncanny. I haven't seen many guys who can put it on you like that in a short amount of time, and on the feet for that matter. The problem with that Philly shell as well is that I do see a vulnerability in DDP potentially landing a right hand to the ear of Strickland. And that's going to be a problem, again, if Strickland isn't able to establish his pace and use that forward pressure. I think Strickland's best bet is to dominate the center of that octagon, back up DDP, establish that jab, use those front kicks, and keep DDP on his back foot. If he's able to do this, this is Strickland's fight. DDP is going out there to kill or be killed, in my opinion. He's going to walk forward until you make him not walk forward. While Strickland is good at diffusing pressure with circular movement and things like that, I still think DDP's awkwardness, his wrestling, his strength, his power is going to be the difference here. Strickland isn't that one-punch knockout guy. He's a volume guy. If he's able to find success at a certain point and then run away with it, I can see him accumulating blows in rounds 4 and 5 and winning the fight. Early, though, I think we're going to find out just how tough Strickland is. I think he is extremely tough, but when I'm looking at this fight, I'm going to lean towards the underdog here for value. I like DDP. Dricus Du Plessis is a guy I have not picked very often. You saw all the awards I gave to Strickland. This has been a tough choice for me. I've done a lot of tape study here. I'm still very confused, but I'm leaning towards DDP.